Hey folks, it's Matt once again, and welcome back to the final video of the Jean-Claude Van Damme Marathon. Figured I would do a top 10 favorite and least favorite films of Jean-Claude Van Damme. And I'm actually going to try to make this not too long of a video because I've reviewed all the films. You can go back on my channel or my playlist. I made a playlist of my Jean-Claude Van Damme movie reviews, and you can find more details in those reviews. But I've had a lot of fun. Van Damme is still one of my favorite action stars. Yeah, Pound of Flesh was pretty shitty and disappointing, but I'll look forward to what he has next because it could always be another Shepherd Border Patrol, another 6 Bullets, another Replicant or Wake of Death. So he don't have clunkers, but I'm a big fan of him, and I'll still be curious to see what he has next. But definitely my favorite period is his golden years between Bloodsport and Time Cop. From Bloodsport to Time Cop and all the films in between, I think that's his golden years, and that's my favorite. So most of my top 10 will be those movies. But he's made some pretty good direct-to-video films as well. Not all, but some pretty good ones. Let's get to my top 10 favorite. Number 1 is definitely going to be Hard Target. It was the one I did the longest review on, over an hour. I had a lot to say about that movie. Love the film. Love John Woo's direction. Love Chance Boudreaux, that character Van Damme plays. Lance Henriksen is a great bad guy. Wonderful usage of slow-mo. Excellent action sequences. The word print version, especially with the action, the violence, definitely needs to be put on Blu-ray by Universal, Stream Factory, whoever the fuck has it, who the fuck can get it. Please do that. Put money into that instead of these remakes and shit. Like remake a Big Trouble in Little China, fuck that. Steal the money and put it into this or something. But Hard Target will always be my favorite. Graham Revell did a good job in the score. Love the film. Number 2, be Cyborg. This is one of those Van Damme films I watched a lot when I was a kid. I still enjoy it to this day. I like the post-apocalyptic future. I thought for a $500,000 budget, or under $500,000 budget, they did a pretty damn good job. It was a very low-budget movie. I like the villain Fender. Fender! Fucker! I love that. I like the score. The bits of action sequences I thought were well done. Like the bit with the sort of nail thing that comes out of Van Damme's foot that slices people's necks when he does a 360 kick. The crucifixion scene on a boat in the middle of the desert. Just kidding the shit out of it. Nice little backstory for Van Damme's character. Fuck Al Pion's director's cut, which cuts out a lot of the action, especially the main fight at the end. All that fight in the shack where Van Damme kicks the guy, Fender into that hook, that's all gone in Al Pion's director's cut. Because he cuts out action and adds stupid voiceovers that's not even Van Damme's voice. And makes it more pretentious. So fuck the director's cut. The theatrical cut of Cyborg, though, I still really enjoy. I mean, doing a split, fucked up a guy. Again, I have more detail in my review. So Cyborg's number 2. Number 3 has got to be Universal Soldier. Love this film. I know some people don't like the score. I do like the score. I like it the opening. When the tiles come up, has almost a horror Terminator vibe. When the title comes up. I enjoy the score during the action scenes, especially the final fight at the end. I'm not going to do. I won't do a good job of it, so I'm not going to try. Granted, it's not a lot of fisticuffs when you think about it, but the fisticuff at the end is epic. Got into the story. I love the humor. Thought Roland Emmerich did a great job directing. Good chasing with the bus. Are we having fun yet? Say goodnight, asshole. Good night, asshole. Memorable lines of dialogue. Love the Universal Soldier. Love the idea. Dolph Lundgren is an excellent bad guy for Van Damme. Van Damme, I thought, did a good job. Definitely Universal Soldier. And then the next 7, it's hard for me to pick. Oh, that's cheating. What was my list? Because I know those are my top 3, but the other 7 could go off and on in between. Because I still really love Bloodsport and Kickboxer. I still really love Lionheart and Death Warrant. I really love Time Cop. And there's other stuff I like there, but I'd also want to pit some of his direct-to-video stuff. Like, part of me wants to pit The Order. This is an underrated direct-to-video film that no one talks about. Universal Soldier: The Return is underrated, and I know some people go, well, it's stupid because how could a zombie have kids? He's a dead man. How did Lou Devereaux have kids? And I go, how do dead people come back to life? So you're okay with a dead guy coming back to life, but because he has a kid, even though the film says that they rehabilitated him and fixed him up and such, in dialogue, you don't buy that, but you buy the fact that they brought him back to life? He's not the Lou Devereaux. Well, he's not the Lou Devereaux in Regeneration Day Reckoning either. But people like those movies. In Regeneration, he's just a depressed fuck. And a zombie fuck. And in Day of Reckoning, he's Colonel Kurt's fuck. And he's in the film for 5 minutes. So I disagree with that. And I just don't understand oh, but how could he have a kid? I'm like, I don't know, how did he come back to life? Dead people don't come, you can't bring dead people to life. As far as I know, when you bring someone dead to life, again, bring them back to life, and then they try to have a kid and they can't, then you tell me I'm wrong. But, I mean, it's their opinion. They have a right to it, but I just disagree with that. But, I mean, it's hard to pick after number 3. I mean, it's really hard to pick. Because I know the next 4 after that would have to be 4, 5, 6, and 7 would have to be God, I don't know. The next 5, I should say, would have to be Bloodsport, Kickboxer, Time Cop, Lionheart, and Death Warrant. Would have to be in there somewhere. I don't know which numbers, though. Because I like them for different reasons. Death Warrant, I like the prison setting. I like, at times, almost looks like a horror movie for the lighting and such. I thought the lighting was well done. I like the score. The fight against the Sandman. And Kickboxer, I really love the training scenes. And the fight at the end is excellent. Bloodsport, very great tournament movie. Which I know someone said Bloodsport was boring, which I disagree with. I don't think Bloodsport was boring. I don't understand that, but to each their own. It's their opinion. I just not going to disagree with it. I mean, I'm going to disagree with it. I'm just not going to agree with it. But it's hard to pick between all those movies. And then to round out the top 10, I will put Universal Soldier: The Return in The Order because I think those are 2 of Van Damme's most underrated. I really do think those are his most underrated films. The Return, I never thought was that bad. I always thought it was a fast-paced, entertaining action movie with a fun fight with Michael Jai White at the end, good sense of humor, tongue-in-cheek, and quite a few fisticuffs. And Van Damme acting like a human being and having fun and smiling. It's one of the last times we see true old-school Van Damme performance-wise. And The Order, I think, is a fun direct-to-video movie. But also, with that top 10, there's a lot of other movies. I still enjoy Wake of Death and Replicant and Nowhere to Run I liked. Double Impact I liked. There's a lot of movies. But that would be my top 10. I know it's cheating, but fuck it. My top 10 least. Top 10 films I don't like with Van Damme. Number 1, I know it's going to piss people off, but it's my opinion. It's a tie between Universal Soldier: Regeneration and Universal Soldier: Day of Reckoning. I think those 2 films are severely overrated. Just like Curse of Chucky for the Child's Play films, I think it's severely overrated. So I feel the same way about this. I don't like their stories. I think they take a big old shit on the first film. Because, oh, the fight between Van Damme and London didn't matter. Did you just clone them? A lot of movies with clones I don't like. Alien Resurrection, Resident Evil movies, these Universal Soldier films, not all of them, but I still like The Island with Michael Bay. I know there's other movies with clones that I can watch. Replicant, I think is a much better movie, dealing with a clone of Van Damme. Well, Van Damme isn't a clone, but dealing with a clone that features Van Damme. I think Replicant is a much better movie than the Universal Soldier. I hate the stories. I hate the idea of putting clones into it. Yes, they're rated R, and they have a couple good action scenes. Regeneration, there's not a single character I like. Why should I like Van Damme? He's depressed. I don't remember. I don't know. I don't remember. And he's falling asleep, crying, watching fucking monkeys. Then he becomes a zombie. George the Pit Stain, he has no charisma. He has nothing to him. No presence. He fights like boring as shit. Dolph Lundgren, he just has a cameo. So he can rip off Blade Runner with his lines. You have a G.I. Joe wannabe who dies. He's a shitty fighter in the movie. And then they clone him, which doesn't matter because in Day of Reckoning, that guy never comes back again. You spend a lot of time with these terrorists and scientists. I don't give a fuck about them. These Unisouls that come in, I don't give a fuck about them either. Bunch of people I don't give a fuck, fighting people I don't give a fuck. So why should I give a fuck? There's a very nice guy. I know he said that the score was like John Carpenter-like. I don't see that. I disagree. I listened to the score. I don't see anything that reminds me of John Carpenter in the score of Regeneration. That's just my opinion, though. I don't see it. I don't see it. But hell, there's a lot of stuff I like that people don't see, so to each their own. But I don't see it. I don't see the praise. I mean, I see the praise. I don't understand. The same with Day of Reckoning. I will admit, Day of Reckoning, Regeneration has one good scene. When Van Damme does the Call of Duty and then fucks people up with a knife. Put that in a better movie. Put that in Pound of Flesh. His newest film. Day of Reckoning, Scott Adkins, I've seen better movies with him. I would rather watch this film. I would rather watch Ninja 2, Shadow of a Tear. I'd rather watch the first Ninja. I'd rather watch Undisputed 2 and 3. I like his character more than that than his character in Day of Reckoning. He's just a guy who thinks his family died, but then his family never existed. But he still goes along with it anyway. But then he becomes the leader of the Unisouls, even though that's what he was. I guess he still believes his family was alive, even though they were made up. But then the guy at the end says, acts like they were alive. Why didn't he just say, no, they were made up? You're fucked up. I'm talking about the CIA guy, where the fuck he was, the government guy at the end. Van Damme's barely in the movie. It's hard to even call it a Van Damme movie. He's barely in the film. And that film will literally kill you. Epilepsy. Those who don't know, look it up. There's scenes where literally, say, Dolph Lundgren is looking here, and then if I did the screen where it flickers with bright light, and you can actually die from it. Don't believe me, look it up. People can actually have seizures and die from epilepsy. So it can fucking kill you. See for yourself. Has some good violence. Has some good action scenes. Scott Adkins fucking the Pit Stain up with a baseball bat. That's a good scene. When Scott Adkins is fucking people up, it looks like done in one shot. Good scene. When he's fighting Dolph, a little shootout, pretty decent. A couple good action scenes for me doesn't make a good movie if I don't give a fuck about the story. I don't care about the characters. I'm pissed off because I love Universal Soldier, and you turn Luke Devereaux from the guy who came back from the war. He was a dead soldier. He's come back to life. He's found his family. This reporter to, I'm a zombie and now I'm Kurt's bald and I'm in the movie for 5 minutes to die. So yeah, that pissed me off as a fan. So I hate those movies. I hate their stories. Yeah, it's different. Doesn't mean it's good. Hell, you could have had Universal Soldier. Fine, you want to say different? Universal Soldiers versus Monsters. There, that's different. So it's different. Automatically has to be good, right? No, just because it's different doesn't mean it's bad, doesn't mean it's good. It's all subjective. But I don't like those movies at all. So that's why they're number one. I think they're overrated. Hell, even when I reviewed it, people liked it. I know some people did say that, I know some people say, well, you just delete stuff if people disagree with you. No, people disagree with me all the time. It's if you act like an asshole. But like those people, like Jack Craven, he disagrees with me. He didn't act like an asshole. This guy named Billy disagreed with me, but he didn't act like an asshole. And their comments are still up because they were nice. And they didn't treat me like shit. And they didn't act like a jerk off. So I'm like, okay, I disagree, and I'll say why I disagree, but it's all subjective. That's what people have to understand. It's all subjective. Every fucking review, even Jimmy Tam, saying Terminator Genesis is the real Terminator 3. I'm like, it's all subjective. Why are you buying into him? This is the same guy that said AVP was a good movie back in 2006. And an Andrew News interview with this guy named Quint. But then later on, when he saw Pirates of the Caribbean or whatever, he said, oh, it's a bad movie. I'm like, pick your poison, Jimmy. It's all subjective. So, you know, don't believe someone's word is the God. The truth of God. But, yeah, I still hate those movies, though. Number 2, Derailed, piss poor, horrible, low-budget version of Under Siege 2, only with a virus. Some really piss poor special effects of the train miniatures or the fire, and Van Damme on top on a motorcycle, and horrible character, horrible acting, boring plot, lackluster, lazy fight sequences. Just a really bottom-of-the-barrel action movie, Derailed. That's why it's number 2. And I did all these films are reviewed, so I did more detail. Check out my review on my channel. Number 3, I have to go with Assassination Games. This is another one I feel is underrated. I don't see how it gets a 6.2. I don't see it. First off, the film is filmed in piss yellow. Literally, if this camera, if I pissed on it, you see yellow, that's what the film looks like. Van Damme's character, I think, is one of his worst performances. Because all he does is, from beginning to the end, he's this. Even when this girl who he puts in his place, well, she got in, he lets her stay. When he finds her dead, he barely shows an emotion. Like lame ending, just a laser pointing gun. Shoots a couple people, and Van Damme shoots one with a shotgun. That's it. Lack of action, boring pace. No chemistry between Scott Adkins and Van Damme when they team up. No chemistry at all. There's as much chemistry as a rabies-infested dog and a cat in Heat. Not a pretty picture. If Cujo met a hornier-than-thou Garfield, that's how much fucking chemistry is between these two fucking guys. Zilch and nada. Actually, that'd probably be more chemistry and interesting than this. This movie just, it's boring, it's tedious, it's slow, it's almost to the point of nothing happens. The movie, I don't understand the praise. I never understand it. Van Damme, what? He has a nice room, he plays a violin, he has a pet turtle. That's it. He keeps diamonds that he doesn't spend for some stupid reason. Just Assassination Games. That's why I always say assassinate your asshole. So you don't have to sit down and watch this fucking film. See, that's number 3. Number 4 would be the hardcore. Might as well be hardcore fucked in the ass while watching the movie. Because maybe you get some enjoyment because it'll hit the sweet spot. Because the hardcore was Sheldon Lettich. This guy directed Lionheart and Double Impact and The Order, fun Van Damme movies, and directs this piece of shit about some fucking guy who's a boxer, needs protection, lame, boring pace. There's barely any action. And the first fucking hour, all Van Damme does for action, just shoot a couple people in a very lackadaisical way. I don't care about his love story with VJ Fox. His backstory about his PTSD, I thought could have been handled a lot better. I thought it was piss poorly directed. I thought the rest of the supporting cast, I didn't care. The group that he comes up with for this bodyguard protection thing, didn't care. The training scenes, they were not interesting. You have some shitty rap songs. You have some lame wannabe rapper villains. So, I know DMX said that they were offered him a part as the villain, but he was in jail and he's glad he didn't do it. More I think about, maybe I understand more why he said that. Actually, I still rather do a movie than go to jail, so fuck that. You did a film with Steven Seagal, but Van Damme, that's awful. Maybe DMX can tell me that. Great, As He Wounds is a better movie than that, but maybe that's what he means. I don't know. Fuck it. But the hardcore is number 4. God, what would be next? Number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 6 more. Because it's a pick between... He's done shitty films, but he only had a little cameo, so do they count? But at the same time, those Universal Soldier films, that's because those films, people say they're Van Damme movies. I'm like, he's barely in them. It's hard to pick. It's hard to pick. Because there's Pound of Flesh, which I hated, which was recently. There's Swelter. And there's fucking Dragon Eyes. There's Black Eagle, which I hate. Street Fighter is really bad. No Retreat, No Surrender, I still think it's a pretty damn bad movie. Van Damme is the only good thing. Kurt McKinney I thought sucked. I thought his father sucked even more. I thought the music was horrible. I thought the thing with the ghost was, Bruce Lee's ghost was laughable. I think number 5, I would... You know what? I'll put Pound of Flesh as number 5. Because that was disappointing. That was really disappointing. To be like, oh, Shepherd Border Patrol I liked, 6 Bullets I liked. Then Pound of Flesh, okay, they stole his kidney, he's going to go get it back. And it's disappointing as fuck. He has a shitty brother who's a bad actor. Yeah, it's a shoddy filmmaking. The film doesn't even look like it's done. The driving scenes, you could clearly tell it's a green screen. Looks faker than fuck. I've seen people on YouTube do better green screen. Even bullet hits, and when a bullet hits a piece of the wall, that's all CGI. Smoke barrel, you can tell is fucking CGI. Lazy fights. This was choreographed by the guy who worked with Donnie Yen. What the fuck happened? Were you smoking some ganja while you doing this? Or did Ernie Beveridge knock you out and put a replacement? Maybe a clone of the guy who did the choreography. But he's like the clone of Multiplicity, the guy who, when they got to like the 4th Michael Keaton, he's like, yeah, yeah. I just ranted on Pound of Flesh. Again, a pound of dick in your face is better than that fucking movie. It really is. Because at least there'd be suspense in that. Here, there ain't fucking shit. So that's definitely number 5. Let's see, number 6, I'll put Swelter. Because it's a useless Van Damme movie. He has nothing to do. It's a horribly boring film. It's a piss-poor modern-day Western. I don't give a fuck about any of the characters. It drags, it's slow, it's tedious to watch. And it was one of those films that I just got up and kept walking around and then sat back to watch again. It was a pain in the ass to watch. That's why it's number 6. Number 7, I'll put Dragon Eyes. No. I'll put Black Eagle. Because that's another terrible movie. And Van Damme's barely in that. And Shota Zudi. You want to see Shota Zudi? Watch Revenge of the Ninja. Watch this movie. If you want to see Shota Zudi. Not Black Eagle. So, yeah, Black Eagle is pretty damn horrible. I ranted on that. It's terribly boring, low budget, trying to be James Bond and failing. Van Damme dies because he tries to save his girl and he goes to the fucking rudder of a boat. Shota Zudi, like, gets his ass kicked by Van Damme most of the time. And doesn't even get much of a comeuppance against Van Damme. He gets like one lucky kick in, runs away, and then that guy shoots Van Damme in the leg, and then that's when he goes in the water. So, Universal Soldier Regeneration Day Reckoning is my number 1. Number 2 is Derailed. Number 3 was, I just said, what the hell did I say? Assassination Games. Number 4 was The Hardcore. Number 5 was Pound of Flesh. Number 6 is Swelter. Number 7 is Black Eagle. 8, 9, and 10. 8 would be Dragon Eyes, because that was another very boring movie. Peter Weller was good. He was the only good thing. Kun Lee has no personality. He has no presence. He has no charisma. Van Damme is there for a useless little cameo. He has nothing to do. Dragon Eyes, I think, is a piece of shit. Hard to sift through. Fuck, I forget the 5. Wait, 5 was Pound of Flesh. I should have written this down. No, 5 was Pound of Flesh. 6 was Swelter. 7 Dragon Eyes. 8 was 7 was Black Eagle. 8 was Dragon Eyes. 9 and 10. What did I pick for 9 and 10? I should put Welcome to the Jungle, but I was actually entertained by Van Damme's part in that. I'm trying to think of his other films. The Quest, I gotta put on there. The Quest. Because that's a pretty terrible directing debut for Van Damme. Because, man, The Quest. I don't think anything works in that film. Van Damme's old makeup at the beginning. His fight scenes are boring. They go by... They're very, very short. And there's nothing memorable about them. And I can't remember any scenes during the fights. Again, they're very short, uninteresting. And they're filmed as if everyone's fucking glowing, as if heaven above is about ready to come down with their angels and bring everyone up and lead the people for a movie called Left Behind. It just... Roger Moore was there to pick up a paycheck. Yeah, I just really did not care for The Quest. I already ranted on it. And number 10... God, what's lucky number 10 going to be? I'm thinking. God, I hate doing this, but I'm going to look on my list, and I mean, I got a couple, but I want to see which one I want to pick. I didn't write it down because I wanted to be more spontaneous. But because most of the early films I thought about were films I liked. Let's see. Oh, of course. I gotta put that one. And actually, I'll put The Quest as number 10. Because I absolutely forgot about this fucking movie. Which is definitely number 9. Because I don't like The Quest. But I think I would still rather watch The Quest. Just for at least for some of the decent locations than this next one. Desert Heat. fucking Desert Heat. I know some people like that film, that's fine. I fucking hated Desert Heat. Fuck Desert Heat. It's directed by a guy who did Rocky and The Karate Kid. It's a boring film where Van Damme fucks 2 girls and Pat Morita has to say lines like, "Oh, I bet he gets a lot of pussy, doesn't he?" Or something to that effect. And he's talking to another old guy. There's barely any action. Villains are lame. I can't remember anything about the movie actually now. And I ranted on it. Yeah, Danny Trejo's there to pontificate and then dies. Lame showdown at the end where he just booby traps his apartment. People go up, it explodes. Sneak attack a couple guys. A fire jet comes by, hits a guy's gun out of his hands, and or he sweeps the guy. I can't even remember that now. Can't remember. But yeah, that's why it's Desert Heat, because I can't even fucking remember the movie, and I know I saw it and I ranted on it. So at least the quest does have some nice locations. You tell there was somewhat of a budget behind it. Just not a good action movie. Just a shitty version of Bloodsport. But Desert Heat definitely is number 9. I definitely... See, I forgot that movie. That's how... For me, that's how bad it is. But yeah, that's my top 10 least favorite Van Damme films. But thanks for watching my Jean-Claude Van Damme movie marathon. What's coming up next? I'm going to have a tag video because I was tagged by James DVD Collector. That'll be popping up sometime. And then after that will be 2 films that First Power 100 sent me. These Batman animated films, which unfortunately I wasn't a fan of. Then about the 4 or 5 films that Corey sent me. One of them, Hot Tub Time Machine 2. So I might as well review the first one again since I'm going to reviewing the sequel. And then after that, I got to get to a film called Brainscan, which I know a guy named Travis. He had sent me some stuff, and that's what he asked for, Brainscan, with Edward Furlong. I'll review that. I think I used to have it, but it was taken down because of copyright a long time ago. That was actually during my first time viewing, actually, that I remember. And then I also want to review films that I've seen recently, like Furious 7, which is not a rant. I liked the film. It was just okay. The Kingsman, which I really enjoyed. So right there, that's about 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 videos. So it'll take a while because I'm not going to put them up every day because I kind of want to take a break after doing all these Van Damme movie reviews. But it'll be a few days and I'll do the tab video. It'll be a few, and then anyway, there's a lot coming up. While I do other stuff, honestly, the new movies coming out, I'll just wait to see them till DVD. Fury Road, Jurassic World, Poltergeist remake. I don't actually ever need to see that unless it's a download. I'll admit that freely. If I do the Poltergeist films. Jurassic World, I have no interest. Terminator Genesis, I don't care what James Cameron said. This is all the same guy who did Titanic and Avatar, which I hated those 2 movies. The last good movie he made was 1994's True Lies, in my opinion. Doesn't mean you have to agree, it's just my opinion. Either way, thanks for watching my Jean-Claude Van Damme movie marathon. It was a lot of fun to do. It was a lot of fun to watch these movies again. At least some of them. At least a lot of them. Some of them, like Desert Heat and fucking Swelter and Grinding Eyes and pounding my dick in my ass. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. Later.